This video tutorial will be about working with categories. By the end of this video, you should be able to filter by categories, add, edit, and delete categories, set up final grade calculation weight for categories, set up final grade calculation weight for assignments, and copy final grade calculation to other terms and classes. Before you create assignments, you must set up categories. Categories are groups of the same types of assignments. They're not class specific, so there's no need to have to create the same category multiple times for each class that's assigned to you as a teacher. By default, PowerTeacher Gradebook includes 4 predefined categories: the homework category, project, quiz, and test. These appear over here in the categories pane. When setting up categories, you can use the Include Final Grade checkbox to indicate whether assignments within a category should be included in the final grade. So we will click on Homework. As you can see, it says to include in final grade. But since we know that homework is formative and it's something that I actually don't want to calculate in my final grade, as a default, I can unclick that checkbox, which means that homework will not compute into the final grade, allowing me to record scores that will not hurt the student's grades. The value set for a category is used as the default for all assignments within that category. So this is our default screen. But remember, those can be overridden on an assignment by assignment basis, and we'll make sure to show you that so that you can see just because this is the default doesn't necessarily mean it has to be that way. So we're going to say the points possible for our assignment is going to be 100 usually for homework. So I will normally give 100 points total for homework. However, there may be times where I have less than 100 points, and I can fix that on an assignment by assignment basis. And we'll click OK. We can use the Categories filter to customize the appearance on the score sheet and assignments windows by indicating the category or combination of categories that you would like to view. By default, all categories will appear when viewing the score sheet. If you'd like to filter by category, select a class from the class pane. In this case, I have my biology class selected. In the categories pane, do one of the following. You can select all and this is how this is selected here, to view all the categories, or you can select the homework category and it will filter by homework. And again, notice filter selected here. If I turn the filter off, just clicking homework is not going to do anything for me. But again, filter selected, I'm going to click homework. If I want to see more than just the homework, if you are using a Mac, you would choose Command and click. And if you're using a PC, you would choose the Control and click. And so in this case, we're going to click Homework, Part, and Project. And notice the projects come back up in our screen. So you can filter for the categories that you would like to look at. And then we can select Filter Off to return back to all of our categories showing. So let's talk about adding categories. You can add categories from the categories pane here below, or you can actually go to your tools, go to categories, and you will get the category boxes there as well. So you can do either. We're going to add our categories from the dialog box since we have it open. And we're going to go down to the plus. If you were doing it from the tool bar down here, you would simply go to this plus. The name of our category is going to be Common Formative Assessment. And you do have to have an abbreviation, so ours is going to be CFA. I'm going to choose black since we do not already have a black assignment. And typically speaking, my formative assessments are out of 100 points, and I do that by assigning percentages. Because it is a common formative assessment, we are not going to include it in the final grade So I'm going to click on that checkbox to take it out. And I do want it published immediately, so I will leave that as the default. Please note that the default that we set up for the category is simply a default. It can be changed from assignment to assignment as necessary. It's simply there to hopefully allow you to have less keystrokes whenever you are creating an assignment. And we're going to close that. And so you should see Common Formative Assessment appears down here in our category pane. Now, if we want to edit a category, and let's edit the category that we already have, and that is the Common Formative Assessment, and I decide, you know what, I think I'm going to do this in terms of points. And I do believe that typically they're 50 points, my assessments. So I can edit how my assignments are being set up for Common Formative Assessments if I recognize that I'm changing things often and want to make it more of a default to what I typically use. And I'm also finding that when I publish immediately, that's a little too soon. I'd like to publish on the due date after the students take the assignment. And then I click OK. I can also change the name of my category or do any other kind of editing as necessary. Next, we can delete categories. You can delete categories, again, from the same place. This time we're going to use this pane to delete the category. We're simply going to highlight it. You can do one of two things here in this category. I can simply click on the minus key, or I can right-click, and when I do, it gives me an option to delete the category, and we're going to delete from here. So are you sure? We are sure, and we know that there are no assignments tied to this category simply because we just created the category. If there are assignments tied to the category, it will not let you delete it, and it'll show you just that in a moment. That assignment or category of assignments is deleted. And let's try to delete one we know that there are assignments to. We know there is homework assignment already. So we're going to try to delete that. And it asks me, am I sure? And then it says can't because it's already being used. And it may not necessarily be used in this class, but if it is being used in any of my sections, it will not delete it because these categories can be used in all of the sections. So we are going to now discuss how to calculate final grades by category weight. The category weight method calculates final grades based on total points times the value or the weight of each category or assignment. So how we're going to calculate those final grades is by selecting a class from the class pane, and in this case our biology class is selected. We're going to click on the Grade Setups tab, and then we're going to click the calculation mode. Okay. And then we are going to click on the name of the reporting term for which you want to set the final grade calculations. So we're going to double click on the reporting term. In this case, we're going to begin with quarter one, and we click on that, and the default is total points. We're going to click on category weights. When we look at category weights, we're going to bring in the assignments that we will be using for this course. So we will add the following categories. We're going to be using classwork, homework, quiz, and tests for this particular class. And we say, okay. Then we say, how do we want this weighted? So perhaps we want classwork to be 10% of our grade, homework to have a weight of 0, because we're not going to be using that because it's formative, quizzes to have a weight of 30, and tests to have a weight of 60. Okay, and as you can see on the right hand side, it tells you exactly how much of the percent of each course category it counts for the course. So 10% for classwork, quiz is 30, and test is 60. If your numbers don't equal up to 100 it will still weight it accordingly based on relative value. You could, if you wanted, to say, I want the classwork, I want to drop the lowest two scores. You can edit that by double clicking on and simply putting it in the number 2. And this will have the computer to calculate the lowest 2 scores get dropped, or the students exempted from their lowest 2 scores. We can then save this, and you have now weighted your categories. One additional way that you can weight assignments outside of the category is by actually adding assignments. So you can actually add an assignment to have a specific weight within your quarter. So you can do this by using the plus key at the bottom where it says Add Assignment. This is only available for those lower level terms within a term. So that would be quarter 1 and quarter 2 within semester 1, or quarter 3 and quarter 4 within semester 2. So we click Add Assignment, and all of the assignments that have been assigned to students would show up. Select the checkbox of the assignment you want to add, and let's say this is the leaf collection. Perhaps maybe that was a large assignment. You can once we click OK here, you can double click the weight field, and that field appears as an editable text field, and you can enter the weight. And so in this case, remember that our numbers added up to 100. There's no need to change this. We can say we want it to have about the same weight as that classwork category. So we're going to put in 10 here. And then we're going to save it. And now that leaf collection is about 9% of the quarter grade, that one assignment. So you can actually make an assignment to have a weight along with your categories. How do you remove that assignment? You select the assignment that you want to delete. It's highlighted, and you click Remove and Save. The same is true for categories. Since we really don't need homework, since it has a weight of 0, you can select for homework, remove, and save. Now that I have created the category weights that I'd like to use for quarter 1, I can then go back and copy the calculations that I'll be using for quarter 1 to other quarters in the semester. I would click the copy button here, and it asks me, am I copying quarter 1 or the entire class? Well, right now I'm only going to be copying quarter 1 because that's the only one I have set up, so we'll say OK. And then if you'll notice, S1 and quarter 2 are total points. We're going to make them just like quarter 1 that we've set up, and click Next. And are we sure? Yes, we're sure, and we'll finish that. And now all of them are alike. So if we go back and we say copy, and let's look at quarter 1 only, and we can see all of the other reporting terms are now category weight. So we're going to cancel out of that, and now I'd like to use the same grading setup, final grading setup that I have for the biology class as I would like for the entire class. And so we're going to select the chemistry class, and we're just going to select this chemistry class and this chemistry class because they're done by semesters here, in this particular case S1 and S1, and we'll say Next. And is that what we want? Yes. So now we have copied that same grading scale to the other chemistry classes.